How are you, beauty? Welcome to another episode of The Eden's Gem. It's good to have you. It's good to connect. If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Annette Day. It's such a great privilege to come and serve through this medium. And I don't do this all by myself. There's a team of powerful human beings that ensure that these episodes come to you. And I say powerful because they stand in prayer, not just in action, not just in just being mechanics behind the cameras and editing and things like that. We believe that it is God's work. And so we don't take it lightly, right? So I want you to whisper a prayer for the entire team. And I want you to give us a heart and a hello to Eyes Have Not Seen and Blessed Dream Production. I don't know how you're feeling in this month. Maybe this year didn't start well for you. Maybe it started off well, but life has happened and you've given up. Well, this month, we want to come alongside you and pull you out. And even if all is going well, we also want to come alongside you and use the concept of momentum to get the ball rolling. If you haven't watched the previous episode, it's going to be linked somewhere. Click on it so that you get the foundation of what it is that we're talking about, right? Momentum. Using speed, light, weight, using whatever it is that will force you to get on to the route that you desire or envisioned to be on in this 2025 or in this season or at least in this first quarter of the year. Most people that I know that are very diligent with goal setting and use goals and visions to get to the place that they desire, they are very mindful of milestones. And most people, when they look at the year, even though they break it down in days and weeks and months, they also are very mindful of the quarters of the year. So this month marks the last month of this first quarter of 2025, sorry. And we want to use momentum every week to get us propelled towards the vision and the goals and the assignments, the mandates and the expectations that God has for us. Last week, we talked about using momentum to excavate our gems, right? Because it's the Eden's gem. This week, I want us to use mindset as our momentum. So using mindset as my momentum is what we're talking about today. One of the things that I've come to really believe is how you see a thing is how you approach that thing. I'm going to say that again. How you see a thing is how you approach the thing. So if I see that something is too big for me to tackle, I'm not even going to make that move and encounter the reality myself. Just the thought that this is too big for me to tackle, I'm not even going to go there. This month, there is a chapter of the Bible that I pray that we will get very familiar with. We may know the story. Even unbelievers know the story. There are secular books that have been written about the story, and that is the story of David and Goliath. A person doesn't have to be a Christian to know the story of David and Goliath. It's become a principle that people use in saying when I'm about to encounter something that is it feels like it's insurmountable, they use the words of David and Goliath. David and Goliath's story starts off and it's found in 1 Samuel chapter 17. And using mindset as momentum, I want us to really this month Again, you know the story, but sometimes we haven't taken time to get the last detail, like every detail of the story. Jesus says something, and it is the Passion translation of it that I like. The story of Jesus saying, I did everything that the Father asked me to do, right? The Passion says it this way: I did it to the very last detail, every detail, right? And sometimes when we approach life, we kind of have an overall view of it, and we kind of miss the every detail part of the story. And so let me switch it to my New Living Translation. It says that the Philistines, 1 Samuel 7:1. This month, let me actually say this. This month, I want us to do a little bit of a Bible study. And because we want to use the Bible as our momentum, our excavator, right? And so I'm going to be referencing to this chapter a lot. The Philistines now mastered their army for battle and camped between Soko and Judah and Azekah and Ephes-dammim. Saul countered by gathering his Israelite troops near the valley of Elah. So the Philistines and Israelites faced each other on opposite hills with the valley in between them. When you read the King James or the Amplified, it says that the Philistines will be on top of one mountain and the Israelites will be on top of another mountain with a valley in between them. And that's the valley of Elah, right? And the beautiful thing is, they're both on mountains. Oftentimes, we believe that when I get to the mountaintop, then I'm it. But could it be that we're on a mountaintop, but yet our mindset feels like we're in the valley? You are placed on a mountain. Actually, let me switch to the Amplified because I want us to get that language, okay? Now the Philistines gathered their armies for battle and were assembled at Succoth, which belongs to Judah. First of all, the place of operation and the battle belongs to Judah, yet Judah has a different mindset concerning where they are. And they camped between Succoth and Azekah and Ephes-dammim. Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together, and they camped in the valley of Elah and assembled in battle formation to meet the Philistines. The Philistines, verse 3, the Philistines were standing on the mountain on one side, and Israel was standing on the mountain on the other side with the valley in between them. I love this picture when I read it today. Okay, earlier on today I read it because this whole time, because I hadn't paid attention to the detail of the language, I always believed that the Israelites were hiding in the valley of Elah. It was through a shift in mindset going back to the word this very morning, that I was like, wait a minute. So they're both on mountaintops, yet their mindset is making them behave as if they're in the valley. So what is the mindset? Then, verse 4, then a champion came out from the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span, and he had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor overlapping metal plates, which weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze. He had bronze shin protectors on his legs, and a bronze javelin hang between his shoulders. And it goes on and on. Verse 8, Goliath stood and shouted to the battle lines of Israel, saying to them, why have you come out to draw up for battle? Am I not the Philistine, and are you not servants of Saul? See, he didn't say, am I not a servant and a Philistine? He said, am I not a Philistine and you are a servant? The moment he used the word servant, their mindset went to, because a servant is not supposed to do anything. A servant is supposed to be subservient. So right there, their mindset shifted. But if you go down the story, now the Israelites are afraid. The Bible says day after day, I believe it says for 40 days, this giant called Goliath will come and repeat the same words. What he was doing is he hadn't thrown a javelin, he hadn't done anything. He was breaking them just by mindset. But then one day, a young lad who was not even qualified to be in the army also showed up. And when he saw the Philistine, the giant that was making everybody run away, his mindset was not a giant. His mindset was this uncircumcised Philistine. He had not fought before on that army battlefield, but how he saw, remember I said how you see a thing is how you approach the thing? He didn't see a giant. He saw an uncircumcised Philistine who God can take out at the snap of his finger. And that's exactly what he did. How he saw it is how he took steps towards it, is how he approached it. When everybody saw a giant that was intimidating, he saw an uncircumcised Philistine that God can just take out. So what mindset do you and I have in this month, in this first quarter, in this last month of the first quarter? Do we have the mindset of, oh, at least I tried and I've always tried and I can't lose that weight? Or is this the day that you step out? Is this the month that you step out? Is this the year that you step out with a mindset of David, which becomes the propelling force, the momentum that moves us forward? So today I want to ask you, what mindset do you and I have? Do we have the mindset of people on a mountain, but thinking and behaving as people in a valley? Or do we have the mindset of a little boy, a little lad who says, I don't come to you. I'm not approaching this thing. I'm not approaching this year. I'm not approaching this business. I'm not approaching this marriage. I'm not approaching this vision. I'm not approaching this with the way I see myself, but I'm approaching it the way God sees it. And with my God, nothing is impossible. And if we can develop that mindset, it becomes the momentum that moves us to do the impossible, because we have the God of the impossible, not backing us up, but leading us to the battlefield called the goals and the vision that we see. God bless you. I hope this episode blesses you. Share it with someone to encourage them. And let's use our mindset as a powerful momentum to move us to take down our Goliath. God bless you.